Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to ClipperBlog Live. I'm your host, Law Murray, and we have a special guest. I'm not even going to say we don't do this often. We never do this. We have a former Clipper from 1997 to 2000. We have number 33 center Keith Kloss on the program tonight. Keith, first of all, I'm surprised that you're not wearing your jersey for this show like you had for the games. Where's the old 33 at?
Oh, 33 is in the closet, man, just chilling. What? I wasn't. I wore it that night just to mess with a good friend of mine, Devon Walker, and I wasn't even going to show that I had it on. And once he found out I had it on, he just tore my other shirt off and my T-shirt off of me, man, and now I was exposed.
Oh shoot! Hey, well, like I said, I'm glad that you're here. Obviously, I've covered the Drew League the last 2 summers, and at this point, you're like a Drew League legend. The tall can, 7'3", blocking shots, shooting threes now. I guess you don't even consider yourself a real center anymore. You like a stretch forward, tallest stretch
Well,
forward ever at this point.
always have been, always have been. It's just that once I got to the league, they tried to make me into just a center solely. Except for a few occasions when they played me at small forward. In that case, I was guarding guys like Charles Barkley, Michael Jordan, my rookie year. So because of my versatility, guys didn't really know how to handle, somebody my height that could actually shoot the ball and handle the ball the way that I did.
Word. Hey, well, a lot of there's a lot of things we can say that we were like, man, Keith was before his time. But let's start with the basics, I guess. With this game tonight, the Clippers were in Oklahoma City, fourth game in 5 nights. So Blake Griffin, final game in his suspension, but more relevant to the current Clippers. Chris Paul, he got a rest night. JJ Redick got a rest night. DeAndre Jordan got a rest night. Starting lineup tonight, you had Austin Rivers, Jamal Crawford, Luke Baumute, who's been starting all season basically, Wesley Johnson, and Cole Aldridge against a full Oklahoma City Thunder roster. Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, Serge Ibaka, who had the night off against the Detroit Pistons. These guys were at home. They were motivated to get a win because, their week has been answering a bunch of irrelevant Reggie Jackson questions. And
Gotta
Keith,
hate when that happens.
when you think of that lineup, what are you thinking the game? How the game is going to go?
Oh, you can see from the start that we're going to be underhanded. We're going to be outmanned, outgunned. Because we're giving our main guys the rest that they need going into this last stretch of the season. For obvious reasons, we got the playoffs, and we're hoping to make a long run. Break that curse of the second round and get to the Western Conference Finals. Not only that, but to the championship as well.
When I see that lineup, I'm thinking, well, it's not that they're going to lose, but how many points are they going to lose by? And there's no shame in it because they had turned the month around. They had lost 5 or 6 games before last Thursday when they came to Portland or came home against the Portland Trailblazers, and then they win off of JJ's buzzer beater. They win 4 straight. So they had earned the opportunity to go into this game, basically punt it and say, hey, we're just kind of rest guys, be smart, ready for playoffs. Funny thing happened, Keith. They not only competed, but guys impressed. What are your thoughts on Austin Rivers, not just his season, but his status in the rotation?
Austin's a great talent, very talented young man, and you know, he's shown what he can do. He's had his moments. We've all had our moments in the NBA. Every player has had their moment to shine and actually show the rest of the league what they're capable of doing. And tonight was just another example of that.
Did you see
He's
Austin?
been playing his role though. Throughout his career in the NBA, he's just been coming in and playing his role. He hasn't tried to do more than he was expected to do, more than he was asked to do. He went out there and did exactly what he was supposed to do, just like DeAndre Jordan. He goes out there and does exactly what he's asked to do: rebound, protect the rim. And if you get a lot, we'll get you the live, we'll get you easy buckets. They don't have to ask him to go ahead and be an offensive threat. Just get it through the through the flow of the offense, and that's what Austin's been doing.
Well, Austin tonight, he had a career night. 32 points, 7 threes, both of those career highs. Even hit a runner in the lane that gave the Clippers a 117-115 lead just over 2 minutes ago. And Jamal, we got to ask you about Jamal, because Jamal, I'm sure you've played against, maybe not in the NBA. His career started just when yours ended, but over the summertime, I'm sure that you've played with Jamal. He had 32 points. What is your feeling on what Jamal's been able to do he just turned 36 years old this past month?
Hey man, Jamal is Jamal. That's Jay Crossover, man. And hey, I gotta shout him out because I'm wearing my Jay Crossover twos from Brand Black right now. You know what I'm saying?
I'm all about Brand Black.
Yeah, I support my man. You know what I'm saying? Clipper Nation, Brand Black. You know what I'm saying? Jamal is Jamal. He's doing what we know he can do. I always thought that he should be a starter. But he's proven, and again, that's a guy who's accepted his role. Sixth man of the year. You know what I mean? And he comes in and he just handles his business, man, off the bench, and doesn't give any problems. He makes the game exciting to watch because, you don't know who he's going to cross over. You don't know what freestyle or playground move he's going to hit the opponent with, but you do know that he's going to bring some excitement and some eye-opening moves out there during the game. So for him to score like this, that's no surprise for me. It shouldn't be a surprise for anybody else either.
Now, so here's a big issue with tonight. Even though it was a great performance from a team that was shorthanded, they played 9 guys tonight. Brandon Dawson was inactive along with Blake. The rebounding has been an issue. They were out rebounded 46-26 tonight. Steven Adams, second chance opportunity. That's pretty much what decided this game tonight. And with you being a big man and following the team, we know who's coming back to the lineup. But as far as those forwards go, I mean, we've seen you in the Drew League play with, 4 other guys who are like 6'4" and under. What is the expectation for a center who's got to play with those lineups, and what do you expect from the forwards in particular, as far as what you've seen from guys like Wesley Johnson, Jeff Green, Luke Bamute?
Those guys, they're professionals. They're in the NBA for a reason. They've got skill, and guys just have to be able to step up when needed. The same way that Austin did tonight. When the opportunity comes, step up, and don't be afraid to bang, put a body on somebody. Don't let the height difference be an excuse not to be physical with somebody. Don't go out there intimidated because they're coming, full power, and maybe you're a part-time player throughout the season. We all have to be ready when our numbers call. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. But these guys are in the NBA for a reason, and this is something that they should know. We know Jeff can play. We know Jeff can play. You look back over his career, he can play. Luke's gotten better over his career, even though he's been a journeyman. That's okay. He's still managing to get contracts. You know what I'm saying? After all this time. Wesley, he's a young guy. He's still learning, and he can play as well. It's just, staying ready. Just staying ready, man.
Now, you've seen this team play for this season, and you've seen them struggle this month in March. How would you evaluate with, again, we're not even talking about the fact that Blake's coming back. How would you evaluate the job that Doc has done managing this team through this particular month of March, where with this loss tonight, they still finish up at 8-8.
Mhm. You know, Doc's done a great job with the talent that he has. Um, he's put guys in there in the right situations to get the job done. You know, but he can't play for them. You know, none of the coaches can play for the players. All they can do is diagram the play and say, "This is what I want you to do," and send them out there and expect for them to do it. You know, but the rest of that falls on our shoulders as players. We're the ones who have to execute what the coach designed for us. You know, if it doesn't work, maybe it got countered by the other coach one or two times, or maybe we were out of position, which happens a lot sometimes. I know for myself personally, there were a couple times in my career where I was out of position, just coming out of the timeout. Just watch the coach diagram the play and tell me where I was supposed to be. And that quick, you know, I forgot where I was supposed to be and I was out of position, and that may have cost us, you know. But it's all on us players. It's all on us. We can't blame Doc. People want to blame Doc because he's a GM and a coach and say he's got too many responsibilities. It's not on Doc. It's on the players. The players are the ones who have to execute.
Now that being said, you had a game tonight where we're talking about the bench. We have guys like Cole starting. He doesn't normally start. You have guys like Austin start. He doesn't normally start. And you talk about being ready to play. Heck, even Jamal. Jamal's a six-man of the year candidate, not because he's in the starting lineup. He's behind arguably the best shooting guard in the league this season. In JJ. JJ's knocking down a very high 40s percentage of his threes.
Was it about 47%, 48%, somewhere around there?
He was leading the league in three-point percentage for a very significant part of this season.
Yeah.
And
great job.
And with him not playing tonight, I'm pulling this up. With JJ not playing tonight, we've got a gap in the internet. That's what we've got. We've got him at 47.1%, which anyone who's higher doesn't shoot 5.7 threes per game than he does. The next guy below him that shoots more than that is Steph Curry. He's at 45.4%. I mean, the season Steph is having is incredible, but then it's like if you look at just percentage, just accuracy, JJ's shooting a little bit more accurate than Steph is. But Jamal still fills in behind him. Jamal's playing a lot of small forward. Now we're getting to your experience as a player. When you had to start games, and again, you started 7 NBA games in your career, what was not just your mindset going in, but how did you take the opportunity and perform in situations where, okay, all of a sudden I'm the starter now, and you're not normally starting? What adjustments do you make then?
No adjustments. Just get out there and do my job, and because, well, with my situation, I never knew when the coach was going to pull me out, so I was ready for anything. I stayed ready. Once I got out there on the floor, it was nothing for me. All I had to do was just play ball.
Word. So now we've got the Clippers in April. Blake Griffin's coming back from suspension against Washington Wizards on Sunday. The team really can't move up. They can't move down. And we're in a situation where actually your rookie year, correct me if I'm wrong, but your rookie year, you got to play for the 97-98 Clippers. That team, actually, I'm thinking of 96-97. So the team you came into when you were a rookie, the season before they had made the playoffs, correct?
I believe so.
Okay. So this is a team, this year's team, obviously we're far removed from the late 90s teams that you were on, Keith. 5 postseasons in a row, 3 wins away from 50, and if they get to that, we're talking about the only 2 teams in the league with pretty much a 60% win percentage all 5 years of the last 5 years.
Right.
Just the Clippers, just the Spurs. You were with the organization during a tough time off the court and on the court. What have you seen that has changed that has allowed the Clippers to be successful for a period of time that not even the best teams in the league can say, other than San Antonio.
Well, first of all, it started when the front office, started to relinquish some of that control and got the hell out of the way and let the coaches coach. You know, because there were times when I was playing where front office would come down to the bench and they would pull guys off the court. They would make calls. They would tell the coach, "Hey, we don't want him out there. Get him off the court." That happened with myself as well. Um, but now they're under new management for the past few years, and that's just adding to the success that they found. And the sky's the limit for these guys as long as they continue to progress and play more consistently throughout the season. That's been our main Achilles heel, inconsistency. And once we're consistent, you see the type of runs that we have during the season. You know, 10 wins, 11 wins, 12 wins in a row. That comes from consistency. And then when we have those losses, you know, there's consistency there too with turnovers, a lack of hustle on defense, not boxing out, things like that. Guys coming in unprepared, not ready to go. You know, all those things play a major factor. But I'm very, very excited and happy for these guys that who've been there for the past, you know, 8 years even. You know, the guys 5 years, 6 years who've been there and they're doing some pretty great things for the organization. They've really done a great job turning it around. They've brought life back to Clipper Nation. They've got they they're giving myself and Bill Walton and Bob McAdoo and Rodney Rogers and Pooh Richardson, all those guys, Lamont Murray, giving us all something to be proud of. You know, this is something that we could have done, except our circumstances were different. You know, these guys have the freedom now to get out there and do their jobs, and they're doing it. They're making things happen. We love it.
You talk about all those guys who that's basically the Clipper alumni base. I mean, even you, Keith, you're a cult member of that base. Um, what is look? You look at the Lakers, for instance. The Lakers always talk about their alums and the greats that played for them. The Clippers are still an NBA franchise with guys who, were very talented, guys who were just we remember them. Is there a connection with those guys, even though the success level wasn't the same? Like, how would you describe the Clippers alumni base?
Oh man, we're all still in touch with each other. Myself, Ike Austin, even I stay in touch with Lorenzo Wright's family. God rest his soul. You know, Pooh Richardson. Whenever I run into him in traffic in town, Lamont and I are in a pro am right now in Hollywood, the JBL. Playing together. It, we're all very much in touch with each other, and we all sharing the same pride. And we look back and we're like, damn, just think we had the same opportunities that these guys got. Where the leash, they get let off the leash. We could have been doing the same damn thing, but it's a different time. And, thank God they're getting the opportunity. So we're living vicariously through them. You know what I mean? Because we could do the same thing. We could do the same thing that they're doing. It's just that, like I said, we had the leash on. We were muzzled and, you know, but it is what it is. Hey, they done a great job. We don't have any championships yet. We're working on that, but that's ultimately where, this is ultimately something that we see in the near future. You know, yeah, we know that there's going to be changes made in a roster because that happens every year. With teams, they always drop somebody, bring in somebody new, and hopefully the chemistry is okay and that they can continue to be successful. But it's good to be on the other side of the wins column. On the positive side, the plus side, and just seeing the city really rally behind us. It was tough, looking out into the stands and seeing, 9,000, 10,000, 11,000 people, and there's 8, 9,000 empty seats. That was a really tough thing as a player, but we still had to go out there and do our best, despite. And these dudes have done a great job just bringing the fan base back. They brought them back out of hiding. Guys dusted off their old Clipper gear, Clipper hats, their old San Diego gear, and they're wearing it proudly. You know, Unfortunately, the Lakers, or the Fakers, as I like to call them, Faker Nation, I'm gonna catch some heat from that. I don't care. They know how I feel about them. You know, Great, storied franchise, 16 championships. Boston still has 17. You know, but now their fan base and organization is experiencing what it was like. What we went through. You know, what Clipper Nation went through, and they don't like it, man. They're having such a tough time adjusting to it. A lot of these fans, they're really, really nasty. A lot of these, Laker fans get really, really nasty now. And they want to throw up 46 and 0, no, 0 and 46 for the playoff record or whatever, losing seasons, without playoff, whatever. They always come up with something to try to dog us and remind us that we don't have any championships. Hell, we know we're working on it. But in the meantime, y'all stay down there where you at, bottom of the barrel, and get comfortable. Get comfortable. Because we're on the rise, man. We're on the rise.
I know that before we get back to the Clippers, I mean, now that we're on this trend with the Lakers, we know that you had some comments about what they're going through in their locker room situation, and we know that D'Angelo and Nick both came through this summer. If you're in that locker room as a professional, how do you handle a situation where one guy is not being faithful, the other guy is not being trustworthy, and you're already struggling to squad?
You know, well, first of all, if one of my teammates is being faithful, that's none of my damn business. That's none of my damn business. It's not for me to speak on. You know, I let him do him while I continue to do me. And I don't let it come in between what we're trying to accomplish as a team, especially if we're struggling. You know what I mean? The youngster was out of line. My generation, we would have put hands on them. My generation of players were a lot tougher than these guys today. And I said it before, I say it again, they're softer than baby shit, and they're getting away with a whole lot more than we ever could imagine getting away with. You know, we would have put hands on him. We would have beat him up. Not saying that it's the right thing to do, but that was just our get down. You don't cross that line with your teammates. You mind your business, stay in your lane. If that man wants to go ahead and fool around on the side, that's his business. You go on about your life doing what you got to do, instead of trying to worry about what this guy's doing and then recording it and having it leaked, whether it got leaked or he put it out, whatever, it's out there. It's out there, and you possibly could have destroyed this man's relationship. You know what I mean? And that's not cool at all. It's very immature, and I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him. And that's something that's always going to stick with him. I was in a situation, 2000 season, 99, 2000 season, where I got snitched on by a teammate during the game though. Got escorted off the court right after halftime by LAPD, taken to my locker, and had to explain some things. By a paranoid teammate. I won't say any names, but God bless him. A lot of people know who he is. You know, he's still struggling to this day. You know, uh, but stuff like that happens, man, and that's unfortunate. It creates more of a distraction. You know, how in the hell am I supposed to focus on the task at hand when this guy, I don't know if he's going to come after me next. And what if I'm not doing anything and he fabricates something? Then I have to explain myself to my wife or to my significant other. And then when I'm in public, I've got people questioning me about what this cat said about me or what this cat said about another teammate. You know, those are distractions that nobody needs, man. No room for that in professional sports. No room for that in life.
Now, flipping it to now what the Clippers are dealing with. You've got Blake, and the reason he missed these last 4 games wasn't because he was hurt. It was because
Dummy move.
it was just because he was suspended.
Yeah, dummy
And
move.
when something like that happens off the court, especially somebody that you are in, that's your organization. It's like, okay, who you're thinking about at that point. Even if you're all the buddies, even if y'all are cool, you got hurt, you put the team in a precarious situation, and you put the organization and even the league, because now it's like, oh man, how do you handle, you know, especially a star player, someone that's highly visible as Blake, putting hands on somebody who is earning an NBA paycheck in a sense. So now he's back in the locker room, back in the locker room on game day. This is a successful team. This is a team that, as you said, should have aspirations of winning it all. You're a teammate of Blake. How do you receive him in the locker room, and what do you want to see from him after the season that he's had on and off the floor?
Well, first of all, he knows what he did was very, very dumb, and it's shown a negative light on him. And, hopefully he's learned from it, and I would tell him to let's pick up where we left off at. Hopefully you've learned from this, and this is just the older Keith Kloss talking. The younger Keith Kloss, I probably would have done the same thing, and I don't even have all the information. But if somebody, back then, that Keith Kloss, you know, yeah, I probably, given the situation, yeah, I probably would have took off on somebody too. I've done worse things. I've done worse things. I've done extremely ignorant things. I came to practice. I got into it with a teammate, and came to practice with a loaded AK-47 and addressed two other teammates that I had problems with. And because that's just the way I was carrying myself back then. No regard to any kind of authority really, and just living off of young ignorance. But I tell them this: hey, the job's not done yet. Hopefully that's behind you. Let's get back to work, man. Let's get this chip because that's what it's about now. Let's get this damn chip.
Where so now that's really what the situation is. April, you got Blake coming back. You got 3 wins away from 50. They can't move up. They can't move down. They're probably, I mean, Portland is gaining on Memphis's 5th seed. So what are you expecting to see from the Clippers as they wrap the regular season up? I mean, obviously you want to play better. You want to integrate Blake. You want to get Blake into shape. But if you've seen this team all season, we've seen Doc's team the last 2 seasons before this. What are you looking to see from this team that will make you go, y'all need to work on this before you enter the postseason in 2 weeks?
Well, first of all, Blake's still in shape. You know, all they had was a hand injury. There's nothing wrong with his legs. There's nothing wrong with the other hand. So please believe me, he's on that treadmill. He's on that stationary bike. He's running 17s and suicides because Doc didn't let it slide. Coaches aren't going to let it slide, man.
Sounds like it might have let him slide a little bit because Doc was like saying, "Oh, Blake can't last more than 3 minutes." In practice, he said he looked good basketball wise, which is good because he plays basketball as a professional. But it sounded like Doc was a bit concerned about his conditioning initially. He said he'll probably start, probably won't be a heavy minute guy right away.
Wow, I'm surprised by that. Because when we would miss significant time, you know, we were on that treadmill, we were on that bike, and we were on them lines, heavy, heavy. So there was no problem with us being out of shape once we got back into the lineup or on the active roster.
And I
So
think
that's shocking to hear.
I think the challenge with was Blake too was the hand. It sounded like was fine a few weeks ago, but the quadricep may have been re-aggravated.
Mm.
That extended his recovery. That's what he initially injured. It was a partial tear in his quadricep. So maybe that was a factor
Well,
too.
that changes things. Yeah, that changes the dynamic of things a lot. Then, I forgot about the quad. There was a tear.
A partial
Shit.
tear
Oh,
in
a partial
December.
tear. Well, that's enough to sit you out for any substantial amount of time. Depending on how fast you heal. Because you're limited as far as what you can do. So damn that that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense right there. What was the second part of your question now going into the playoffs?
Yeah, you've seen this team play all season. We saw the last two postseasons under Doc. I'm not even talking about the Vinny clips. What do you need to see in this last 7 games, knowing that the wins and losses aren't really critical at this point? They can't catch Oklahoma City, especially after tonight's loss. They probably are not going to slide below 4. They're pretty much locked in. What are you looking to see? What is that one or two things that you're going? Y'all need to shore this up to ensure that you're ready to make a run this spring in the postseason.
The consistency, man, and eliminating, being consistent, out there on the court, man, and everybody giving the ball, you know, um, taking care of the ball, the simple basketball stuff, you know, working on those things. And matter of fact, don't be content with where you're at, you know, while you're working on these things, win out the rest of the way, you know, win these games. They're winnable. Every game is winnable. You know, how many games did Golden State lose this year? Seven,
They're
eight?
on 7. They're 68 and
Yeah.
7 going into
Oh,
April.
okay. Yeah. So, hey, I mean, just like the Bulls back in the day, they lost 10 games. So everybody's eligible to beat someone on any given night. But, try to focus on winning out while improving those things that you need to improve. Don't be satisfied, well, this is where we're at. It's not going to make a difference and go out there and slouch. You know, take the momentum from that into the playoffs.
All right. Hey, well, we're going to wrap that up with that. Once again, Clippers, they take the L tonight, 119-117 in Oklahoma City. Well, a great night for Austin, great night for Jamal, and really a great night all around considering they competed and they are 8-8 for what was a rough month for them.
Yeah.
Keith, just before we sign you out, man, you gotta let the people know what you're doing now, because again, a lot of people they might not have seen you in a while, or you might not have read up on you since you were a Clipper, since you were younger, and I mean, it sounds like you're doing not just cool things, but you're still hooping a bit. But what are you up to now?
Oh man, what was it? February was down in the Dominican Republic for the Copa Mitchell Cup, won a championship there. Uh, Last summer, last July, matter of fact, I was in uh, Taiwan playing in the William Jones Cup for Team USA. Trying to get a gold medal. I'll be doing that again this July. I'll be headed back out to Taiwan, representing Team USA again. Um, you know, Drew League, JVL, running out there with the young guys, teaching as I go along. Teaching the game, passing it. Passing the knowledge on to them. I work for Volunteers of America. I'm a case manager. At a transitional living for homeless men. You know, I play with Power 106, uh, Celebrity All Star Team. Throughout the school year, we do a fundraising tour. We play against alumni and faculty of various schools out here in Southern California, raising funds for their programs. It's, life is about giving, man. Just giving back and just you know, enjoying life in the meantime. You know,
Where
I'm at
and
work now. I get off at 5:30 in the morning, man. I'm gonna take my behind to the 6:45 a.m. AA meeting. Get coffee wasted early in the morning. You see my bladder buster right here. And just keep enjoying life, man. Keep improving and being a better Keith with each and every day that passes by.
hey, man, well, it's great to have you on. Thank you and appreciate you. Hopefully, your Clippers come through, and might as well say it in advance. Happy 40th birthday to you coming up.
I'll be 17 again, man. Hold on, I'll be 17 again. I just had 13 years experience. 17 years experience.
Oh man. Hey, well, that is great, man. Thank you so much. Clippers dropped this one tonight, but they'll be back in action Sunday, and their cavalry's coming back. Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, JJ Redick, maybe Paul Pierce. We'll see against his
Oh,
old team, the
23
Washington
years.
Wizards.
Excuse me. 23 years experience. My bad on the math.
I mean, hey,
Long day, man. It's gonna
you're
be a
showing
long
out with
night.
that Central Connecticut State education right there, man.
Hey, sociology major, psychology minor. I didn't have to worry about math, but I'm so discombobulated right now. I had a long day, but still no excuse. I should have been on top of that, but at least I caught it though. Most
Hey,
people won't even catch it, because I tell some people I'm 5'11" and 3/4 and a half, and they'll get it and they'll walk away. Man, oh wow, that's pretty tall. So I caught myself and I corrected myself, man. My people still
hey,
gonna laugh and clown about it. I'm gonna laugh and clown myself about it too.
all right.
I go on Facebook and post it, and I go on. I'll tweet it too.
Hey, as long as you're not on Snapchat, dude.
No, I ain't on Snapchat, man.
All
I heard
right.
they get wild. Nah, I ain't with the wild stuff.
All right. Well, for ClipperBlog Live, I'm Law Murray. We will catch you in April. Take care and good night.